Hi, in this video I'd like to introduce the XML or what we call it, the Extensible Markup Language. Now the XML or the Extensible Markup Language is designed to store and transport data, kind of like a text file or a CSV file. So these types of files, including the XML file, is used to put our data in there, and then we want to transfer it to, say, another computer or through the internet, and load it wherever it gets to, right? But the key with XML, as opposed to, say, a CSV file, is it's human readable and it's got self-descriptive tags. So XML is a markup language, like HTML. HTML is also a markup language. That's a hypertext markup language. So the markup language, what does that mean? It means you use tags to mark your data. And extensible actually means the XML is like a skeleton that can be used by someone. They can extend it and they can use it in more ways, like more than one way. So really what I'm trying to say is HTML is very specific. It's designed to work with the browser. But XML, you can design it any way you want to work with any kind of software that you're developing, and you can structure it any way you like. Now, let me give you an example so it's more easily illustrated. Here's an example of an XML file. So if you want to double click and open up an XML file in your notepad, you may see these things. So you'll see some kind of XML tag with a version and encoding. And then you'll see bookshelf here, and then bookshelf over here. And you'll see books with different titles and authors, and another book with another title and another author. So you notice that the structure here, there's two books in here. The structure here is very similar to, I just want to show you here. It's very similar to how you would have a record, right? So basically the top part here, this thing we call the root, it's pretty much like the table. And here, these books, they're like records. And this title and this author here, title and author here, they're like fields. And that's pretty much the way XML works. And that's how we structure them. We have some kind of root. It could be stuff, it could be books, bookshelf, or some kind of table. Then we have a child. The next level down is child, or children, if you have multiple childs. And here you can see there's two, but you can actually have as many as you like. And then the child would have subchilds, and these subchilds are likened to fields such as the name of the child, the age of the child, or anything you want to associate with the child. And you can also have multiple different subchilds. And of course you can go to subchild and subchild and as far as you like. Remember, XML is designed how you design it how you want it. And you program your program to read in whatever format you've established, whatever structure you've established, whatever data you've put into it. So if I was to compare the XML format with a record, you can see here this table here has two records and there's two fields, title and author. And we can save this record that's maybe stored in memory or stored wherever it's stored, or even this could be from a CSV file. We can convert that into an XML, and it has this structure. Now the cool thing about an XML is you notice that all of these tags are self-explanatory. Title, that's a title. Author, that's the author. These two make up a book, and these books make up a bookshelf. So it's very self-descriptive, just like HTML. Another thing to notice is, you notice that bookshelf here has a / bookshelf at the end. This is the start tag, this is the end tag, just like HTML. But these tags we design ourselves, whereas in HTML, there are specific tags that the browser reads. And if you get it wrong, it doesn't understand it. Well, of course, if we get our tags wrong, our program doesn't understand it. So we have to be very careful when we program an XML reader and writer. Book also has a start tag and an end tag, and title also has a start tag and an end tag. There are things we can add. We can add little attributes, but I haven't shown that because that's something that we want to avoid in our course. You may also notice this top part here. This is a declaration. It tells the XML reader the XML version and the encoding that we're using. So at the moment, by default, it's UTF-8. So that's Unicode. Alright, so what I'd like to do now is I'd like to move into showing you how to write an XML file write out and also an XML load in using the XDocument object in Visual Basics. And I'll be doing that in the next video. But before I go to the next video, I want to allude you to very specific information in my textbook on the XML. And you definitely want to read all of this. So I'll just find XML over here. Just going to zoom in. And over here, in my textbook, you'll see this is part of the study design. You'll need to know it. Have a read, and there's more information about it. There's certain things that you shouldn't be doing with XML. And this is very important because you want to study this for your exam. So there's a lot of things going on here. You want to read everything here, basically. All right. There's one more thing to note. You'll notice that there's tabs in here. You don't have to put the tabs in, but please put the tabs in. It's a lot more readable. And the whole idea of XML is human readability. If you don't put the tags in, it's harder to read. You're not sure if titles within book, you got to find your end tags, but right now it's really clear. I've got 2 books in a shelf and each book has a title and author. It's really clear. All right, thanks for listening.